And you can see there's a chart of News Corp stock. The stock is up today, up almost 7% as word breaks that the company is thinking of splitting itself up. Investors like it. They like the deal right now. You can see this. The stock is at nearly 5-year high. Look, big drop when everyone took that after the crash. Coming back, this is a big story. Investors like the story, like I said, right now. Will they like it long term? That's what we're going to talk about here on the Markets Hub this morning. I am Paul Vigna, joined by John Jannarone, the man who's got the story for us. Let's start off with the stock, because clearly a big pop in the stock today after this story broke. Investors like it right now, this deal to break the company up in two. Do you think they're going to like it long term?
Well, I think it's hard to say what's going to happen a couple years out from now, depending on how the two companies are managed. But just starting with what's going on right this second, this is something investors have been wanting for quite some time. And they've communicated that to the company. And the reason is basically that there are a lot of shareholders who are more interested in the television, cable, and film side of the company. So not what you and I do.
Which is, sadly to say, more profitable.
Yeah, that's right, and it's got especially the cable part has much better growth prospects. So it appears right now.
Yeah.
So this is so that's usually the motivation for something like this. You've got a company with, well, you've got assets in a company that have different growth profiles and therefore attract different investors. And so the idea is that more people will want to own. Well, you're going to wind up attracting more investors in total if you break it up so that different people get different things.
Right. Now, look, you wrote the story. It's out in the paper today. How close is this deal to actually happening?
Well, I think based on what I'm hearing, it could be very close. Something to keep in mind is that our fiscal year ends in a few days here, so that's one thing that could be that could be a logical point in time to make it happen. So this is not something that's way out there. I mean, and the company's been discussing this for years actually. But as we reported last night, the key difference now is that our CEO and Chairman Rupert Murdoch is warming up to the idea. So of course, without his blessing, this was never going to happen.
Yeah. Now, let's talk one of the News Corp properties that is going to be largely affected by this is BSkyB, the big cable company. How does this deal affect what News Corp is trying to do with BSkyB?
Well, it's difficult to say. I mean, I can tell you what I think. We're not sure, but what's going on right now is that the regulator in the UK is trying to determine whether or not BSkyB is a fit and proper owner of a broadcast license, and because of the connection with News Corp and of course what's going on at the UK papers, there's some questions out there now. Just because the company is split in half, I'm not sure that the problem is solved, because remember, as far as we can tell, the Murdoch family is still going to control both companies. Right. So, effectively, your ultimate owner, if one half of what today's News Corp winds up owning all of BSkyB, also owns those newspapers, I'm not sure that it makes a huge difference. So I don't think that's the motivation for this.
That was one of my questions. How much more distance does this put between Murdoch and the phone hacking scandal? Probably not a lot.
Yeah, again, I mean, I'm not sure. The information we had was not perfect and complete, but I don't think that was the main motivation for this. I think it probably had more to do with an interest in focusing on different parts of the company. I think that the CEO, or I'm sorry, the COO, Chase Carey, is keen to focus on the television and film assets, and again, it's something that investors have been clamoring for.
Now, you can see the stock has been rising for a while, actually, but how much of a boost would this be for the core company? I mean, it seems like what they're really doing is sort of casting adrift the slow growth businesses. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, right? They're sort of getting rid of some of the dead weight. I hate to say that, but it's true. But is this really going to be a big boost for the company, for the core company, the company that's left, or are investors eventually going to look at this and say, oh, you know what, well, we still have what we had, we just lost a little bit of the bad stuff?
Well, look, I mean, I don't, remember, it's not as if the print businesses are being sold. The investors, until they decide to sell their stock, if this works out as a spin-off would, I mean, they're still going to own equivalent amounts of both companies. And remember, we also believe that the Murdoch family is going to stay in control. So I don't think you should quite look at it. I don't think it's quite that negative.
It's not that clean of a break.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, really, I think that the most important thing here is that investors are going to be able to look at these assets that they've cared most about for a long time and value them and put them at a multiple that's hopefully higher than what the company as a whole is getting right now. Because
I have to leave it there, John. Thank you very much.